just finished my Jump Force mission. On to the next one. Wait a minute, that girl call herself that? Wait a minute, nah, that's a dude. It's a trap. I'm out. I'm done. Let me summon my frog and get to stepping. Alright, enough about possibly finding dudes pretending to be chicks like it's Grand Theft Auto. We're here to go ahead and discuss about one thing. And that one thing is the top 9 badass characters that I feel will be in the character pass for Jump Force. And these will be from, of course, the mangas from Shonen Jump. And there was a game previously that came out a couple years ago, which is called J-Star Victory Versus. And it was on the PlayStation 4, 3, and Vita. So some of these characters will be from those games. So if you think I'm copying or I'm just trying to go ahead and, make some easy video, that's not the case. I feel like these characters belong in the game. I feel like it'll be interesting to see them come back, because this is for both Xbox and PlayStation. So maybe, just maybe, some people didn't play the previous game because they had an Xbox, like me. Anyway, let's go to the first character, shall we? First up, we have Inuyasha, and I feel like most people know where he's from, but I'll go ahead and say it anyway. Inuyasha is from Inuyasha, and I feel he should go ahead and be in the Jump Force series because he's a badass, half human, half dog demon breed, and it's perfect because he has moves like Iron Reaver Soul Stealer, and with his sword, the Tensaiga, had to memorize that a couple times, he can go ahead and use moves like Wind Scar, Backlash Wave, and if he ends up having an awakened move, it would be when he goes into full demon mode. Similar to Yu Yu Hakusho, except it'd be something where he's more blood hungry. And I feel like it'd be interesting to go ahead and see him actually do this in Jump Force. You tell me, but I feel like you'll side with me here. Alright, next up we have someone you guys might not know of, but here it is. Koro Sensei from Assassination Classroom. Now, I know that this doesn't look like a badass, but let me go ahead and give you the synopsis for this. So, this yellow creature over here, believed to be an alien at one point, at least I think in the series, basically says, look, you guys have a certain amount of time to kill me, and if you fail to do so, I will just destroy everything. And with his abilities, he actually can go ahead and do it. So, not only does he have antimatter physiology, wow, how did I get tongue-tied over there? He's able to go ahead and use absolute defense, which is one of his trump cards. And he has an energy laser and regenerative abilities, although I don't think they'd really go ahead and put that into the game. But he was already in the previous game. This is why I used the gameplay instead of some anime stuff. So I hope that he will go ahead and make a return, because I feel like it would work. They should use more returning characters, but we'll see how this goes later on down the road for Jump Force. Okay, so you guys are going to have to bear with me here. I'm going to probably butcher this name, but we have Tsunoyoshi Sawada, also known as Tsuno, and his abilities are basically enhanced by something called the Dying Will. Originally, his abilities were enhanced by getting shot in the head. Crazy, right? By the Dying Will bullet. And this just enhances his abilities, and further along in the way of the anime or the manga, depending on what you read, he ends up having certain gadgets like the X gloves, flame resistant clothing, as well as X contacts, things to go ahead and help him boost up his abilities. And I feel like he'll go ahead and work in the series basically by working together with Deku or Asta in Jump Force, and I feel like it could work. So that's why I feel he should go ahead and be up on this list. The next one I feel like you guys will be familiar with if you've seen an anime called Fairy Tail. This Colossus looking guy from the X-Men is Gabriel Redfox from Fairy Tail. And with his abilities, which are the Iron Dragon Slayer, he's able to go ahead and cover himself in metal, iron to be exact, and as well as go ahead and use abilities such as making iron pillars from his arm and also changing his arm into a chainsaw. I feel like his abilities will go ahead and bring something interesting to the game, especially how there are no Fairy Tail characters for some reason in this game, and I believe that he wasn't even in the previous J-Stars Victory Versus game, so this would be something completely new, even though I believe they had Natsu in the game already. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they listen to this. Next up, we have to go ahead and talk about someone that should already be in the series, and you've probably heard of him. I'll give you a hint.
Urameshi.
Of course it had to be Kuwabara. Like, they already have his hairstyle in the game. Like, come on, Urameshi, why am I not in Jump Force? I know that was horrible, but I feel he should be in the game. Aside from him having his dimensional sword, spirit sword, he also has superhuman strength, like physical as well as endurance. But an ability that I think would be really great in the game would be a precog ability that he's been seen to have in the series. So I feel like that would be a counter ability that he could use depending on the attack. And, he also has the spirit kick. So I feel like, he deserves to go ahead and have just a little respect on his name and be put in the Jump Force series. But next up, we have someone that is from Bleach. And honestly, I'm surprised he's not already here. Like, they put Rukia here, and Rukia should have been replaced with this guy. Next up, we have Zaraki Kenpachi. One of my favorite characters from the Bleach series. I'm surprised he isn't here because he is OP to the point where he subconsciously holds himself back when he fights people. Like, come on, how many people do that in any anime series? It's very, not rare, but to the point where it's not the main character that does this. He literally has held himself back to the point where he has an eye patch that he eats up his Ryetsu. That's what they have in Bleach. But what I mean by subconsciously, it was something later on in the Bleach series where it was coming to an end that one of the captains realized that he was losing certain fights that he should never have, or let alone it's been one of those close fights where they were going toe to toe. And it was because of this that she went ahead and fought him multiple times to go and make sure that he would unlock his complete potential. What they haven't done, which I think would be amazing, is to go ahead and let him use his Shikai ability, which is the secondary ability that they have in Bleach when they're Shinigami, and his Bankai, which is beautiful. I really hope that Jump Force puts this in there because it hasn't been seen in an anime. It's only been in the manga. So I hope that they go ahead and bring it out because I will have a serious moment if they do. But I'm going to calm down and I'm going to go to the next character on the list of the 9 badasses that should be in Jump Force. Next up, we have Alan Walker, who is a part of the D. Gray Man series. D. Gray Man is similar to Bleach, and bear with me while I go ahead and explain this. It's one of those things where they also kill demons, but they call demons Kuma here. And instead of having, Shinigami swords, There's different crosses, which what they go ahead and call their weapons, which are just anti-Akuma weapons. His is a parasitic type, which is attached to his arm. I feel like for him, his awaken would be him possibly losing control over his arm, but we'll go ahead and figure that out if they do bring him out. He has abilities like Cross A, which just allows him to just use that arm to go ahead and fight those Akuma. And there's a couple abilities that he's went ahead and had in other series. So I don't want to go ahead and go through all this list, but I will go ahead and list them. Cross Spear, which is the second phase to his ability, which just allows him to go ahead and use it as a spear. Cross Grave, which allows him to go ahead and basically annihilate stronger Akuma by basically putting a cross on them using his parasite head. So we'll go ahead and see. I'm hoping that they go ahead and let him into this series, because I really do feel like even though he was in past series, they should just go ahead and bring him back, because the Jump Force series could have so many more characters. There's so much potential for this game. Next up, we have someone I think you guys know, or should know. Who else but Natsu would have the number 2 headband? Like, come on. It's Fairy Tail. Anyway, I know you guys would probably figure that he should go ahead and come back from the other Jump Force series, but this fire-breathing badass needs no serious introduction, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Natsu Dragio, who is a Fire Dragon Slayer. His dragon magic is Fire Dragon's War, Fire Dragon Claws, as well as Iron Fist. And his awakened ability would be full out Dragon Slayer mode, which would be awesome. His abilities, which I feel would be interesting, only because he can go ahead and like get more flames by eating fire. I feel like some of the characters that go ahead and use abilities like that in the game, it would be like a Kirby moment with him if they go ahead and use it right in Jump Force. I don't know, but I feel like it'll work. Next up, and finally, the last one, we have Tatsumi Oka from the Beelzebub series, and I honestly have to go ahead and say that he is the number 1 badass that I want to go ahead and see here, because not only was he in the previous J-Star Victory Versus, but he is literally the the stepdad of Satan. Like, honestly, watch the anime, read the manga, do whatever you gotta do. But he ends up using the abilities of that baby, Beelzebub, to go ahead and get power-ups, such as the Zebu spell, which allows his right hand to go ahead and have enhanced strength, and Oga is already incredibly strong. Little bit of a bully, but who cares? Then there's the Zebu Blast and the Zebu Emblem, and I really feel like it would be awesome. And there's one of the abilities that allows him to go ahead and get even more power by giving Baby Bell, that's what they call him in the series sometimes, milk. How awesome is that? Like, that's why I feel he should be here. But without further ado, we are at the end of my character pass list. I hope that you guys will take into consideration my list, and